Test 1 2 test. Television Casa Presidential. I love it. It's a good one. All right. Good morning. Let's do this. Channel. It's going to be a fun one today. Guaranteed. Videos. Come on, man. I got to reset all this stuff every single morning. YouTube is blanky. Monetize that. Save. All right. Oh. Good morning, everybody. Sweet. Turn that on. Edit. How's everybody doing this morning? Good morning. Finally warming up. We got a bunch to go over today. Whole ton of stuff again. Allow all comments. Oh no, hold potentially inappropriate comments. Newest customization. How y'all doing out there? Hope everybody's doing well. Let me see here. Save. I think I did it all. Coming into the open right now. Get right into it. Probably have some work here to do. Good morning to all of you that are out there right now. Can't get to the chat just yet. We have to talk about some stuff. Right out the gate this morning. So, just before the open this morning price, I just want you to keep your eyes on this right here. This is the SPY 1 minute. If price can stay above 412.06, right before the opening bell this morning, I want you to pay attention to this cross right here. Remember yesterday I'd said to you, if we don't get above the yellow box, there's no trade higher, right? Well, we talked about that yesterday, and I was actually getting text messages yesterday from people saying we're going up from here, and I'm like, nah, no, we're not. And of course, it ended up losing like $7,500 yesterday, $8,000 yesterday in total. Pretty bad day for me overall. Sloppy trading from me because I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll buy some calls here. But whatever. I'm still up on the week. That's how good of a week it's been. And the month, it's ridiculous at this point. So, but I want you to pay attention to this cross right here for the opening bell. Keep your eyes on that. And we'll talk about the pin into OPEX. We should get a trend day today. And you can see we're squeezing right now, right away. And I'm going to grab... Okay, I'm on a bunch of calls right now for Friday. Calls are dirt cheap right now. Super cheap. I got some calls for the 21st. So, right after the bell, excuse me, I'm a little dehydrated right now. I did a late night workout. I've got some golf coming up, so I wanted to get back into a rhythm. And I got chased around too. So right there you go. Bam. Woohoo! Right off the open. 412, low of 411. I wish I could have grabbed it down below here at 411, but that's fine. So I've got some Friday calls. Looking for a pin. Even if we continue down, I like the idea of being down here along some calls. So into at least on the next couple days. At a fairly cheap price. I guess your question, the next question down here would be how low can we go? Probably a little bit more. But the path of OPEX, you're trying to tell me we're going down to 400 or 410 maybe into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm going to say I don't believe you. I'm just going to say it, okay? I don't believe you. I don't. So we'll talk about that. We came up here since October, and you're trying to tell me we're gonna fucking murder the market like today and tomorrow. Like there's some tricky dickiness to OPEX. I'm gonna tell you, any low that we get into OPEX, you buy, and that's what I've been looking for, right? A buyable dip. So. And even if it's not here, if I have to take that trade one more time at a lower price, I will. So if I can get it even lower, so be it. But I don't think it's going to be lower. We're like, you can see we pinned sideways yesterday. I drew that yellow line yesterday and was telling you guys in the stream, I'm like, if we don't get over this yellow line, we're going to pin into the close. And that's what we fucking did. We pinned into the close. So you got futures selling going on. And if they're giving us a chance to buy a dip, then thank you, futures traders. I mean, I don't know what else to say at that point. And look at that. We're trending right away. So you do your thing out there, whatever it is you're going to do. And sweet. Squeezing right off the open. The spicy honey great wall of Poupon up here at 415. Is up here, and then they're at the bottom of the range right now, believe it or not. So we're squeezing right now. Woo woo, baby, keep on squeezing. Nice little green bar right there off the open. Whole bunch of stuff to clean up above here. I still haven't done the pivot yet, so we got to do the pivot and talk about that this morning. I was too busy this morning. I was doing some more research this morning on some statements that I've been making. And should we put the spicy honey grape? We'll put that back up again, the spunny grape pond wall. We knew that was there yesterday, right? I guess we're all in agreement finally today that was actually there yesterday. We weren't in agreement yesterday. We are now in agreement of it today. So we still have this down below here. We've got this previous low sitting around at 411.08. I was hoping we get 411.08 and some other lows down here, but I don't know if we're getting those. I can leave these here for you. We'll put these back later in case we head back down below there. And we're going to do the pivot points at 414.12. 414.12, way up here. Oh, that's right. Keep on squeezing, baby. S1 pivot points support down below. We've got 412.75. S1 is down here, 412.75. Almost a perfect pin strike right there. S2. Are bears getting all bearish this morning, getting all crazy out there? Probably. I haven't checked. 411.30. And we'll talk about Disney too. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about, but we have the conversation I want to have with you this morning specifically has to do with Banks, specifically banks, and hold on a second here. 415 R1 is pretty high. R1 is 415.69. Giggity. And 417.18. Oh, dude, look at that. So juicy up there. So juicy. So juicy up there. I'm just gonna ride these fucking calls, man. I'm not getting off them. 1463. Well, I might be over exaggerating here. I want to diamond hand these fucking things right to 420. I'll be honest with you. I just want to diamond hand these fucking things and just rip some faces off for like 3 days. I hope I don't have to monetize that quickly. So there we go. Right off the opening bell. The hourly trigger. But anyways, the reason I want to say this is because we talked about business cycles. Key point here is we had this major discussion about business cycles. Business cycles. Let me say it again. Business cycles. I do want to see 413.21. Right here. We'll be expecting some vol up in here. 413.21. Hourly trigger. Up here. There's some vol in there. And take a look at something here for you real quick. Wednesday. Yeah, we could have more down. There could be more roll. It's possible, but I don't think it matters. I think what matters is into Friday, it resolves to a pretty giant fucking squeeze on a Friday. So yeah, I guess maybe I might be over. It's possible that I could be oversimplifying that squeeze up on a Friday. It's possible. But I think ultimately it leads to chase 420 in a Friday. Chase 415 in a Friday. Chase 420 in a Friday. And I'm not willing to wait until Thursday or Friday at 12 o'clock in the afternoon to chase it. So we'll see if this holds up. So what I'm going to do here is just keep my eyes on price staying above the white line. That's it. Same rules apply and matter. Same rules, right? If we begin to roll over here at any point, I will take the money and run, or I will close in a position and go short again. So I don't know if it starts today. I guess I'm saying, yeah, it's going to start today, but it might not. There's still a potential for a roll lower, but even so, the resolution is to the upside on close on Friday, in my view. The resolution is into the close of Friday is to the upside. In my view right now, unless something changes. Resolution is to the upside on a Friday, in my view. Right here, a little bit of rejection on the 5-minute on that red candle, right, that red box right there. You can see that on S1 right now. Trade up to S1. But we're going to talk about this seasonality of the business cycle. And we did not see regional banks. This is a key point because I was talking to some friends about this. We saw like Bank of America did really great. We had some great bank earnings. We had other bank earnings that haven't been so great, right? So we're going to talk about business cycle one more time. Because I think we talk about some things here and then we don't revisit them, or some people aren't in the stream. Oh, I got to post the stream to Twitter. Hold on. Probably talk about Twitter today too at some point. Let's see here. We'll talk about Tesla earnings today as well, of course. And post that right there. Okay. We're going to talk about business. We're going to go back into, we talk about things a few times. It's like we start a conversation and then we have to revisit it until we're throwing it up, right? And it's like he just talks about it all the time. And then we move on to the next thing to talk about. The one good thing is when we start these conversations and we regurgitate them 20 times, they tend to work themselves out. And we tend to be talking about them before anyone else is talking about them. So and I'm fascinated by this because I don't see a lot of people talking about this still. So I'm still kind of scratching my head here. And I think I was having a conversation with a friend, and I said, or I was told, hey, can you buy financials? And my take on that is yes, but be prepared to hold them for a long period of time. And could they print in this earnings cycle? Could they print in this earnings cycle? And the answer is yes. But if they don't, you're just early. So we talked about that the past couple weeks on the show. About specifically about. Hold on a second here. What the fuck is going on with my tight here? There we go. We talked about that on the show the past few weeks about business cycles, sector rotation. This is stockcharts.com. This is their business cycle map. Maybe I can move that over a little bit for you. Right there. And there's some key points here. Key things to keep focused on. This is where financials get whacked, right? And you've seen financials take a hit. Here's the end of the bear market. Real estate getting whacked, right? And we're actually coming into buying tech, buying discretionary, Then we buy communication services and industrials, right? Then we move into materials and energy. So this is like buying and leaving behind. So you're leaving real estate behind, you're leaving financials behind. And so we won't come back into financials for a period of time, is my point, to where you're buying into them. You know, you've got like full recession, market bottom, early recovery, bull market looking forward to, right? And I think we're seeing that this week. Or I think we're seeing that heading into this OPEX with a better expectation for financials and them not performing as much as. Oh, did you think we were crashing here? Is that what you thought? Probably. Savages. But I want you to think about that is that you've got the hey, we're all buying tech and we're all buying discretionary. Then we're all going to start buying communication services and industrials. And then we're all going to buy materials and energy. So you can front run these trades. It doesn't mean you don't buy financials or real estate. That's why so with real estate, that's why I'm like, yeah, we probably haven't seen the end of some kind of like, that's why you hear me say in the stream all the time, I was like, yeah, we probably haven't seen the end of a real estate crisis. If you're looking for vol into May or June or July, my assumption is to get some vol, it's going to be related to that. Now, whether it's real or bullshit, like the regional bank bullshit, it's just looking for a reason, right? We're going to create a reason. I'm assuming some banks and some other people, smart, wealthy people know that we're coming into the end of, or the tail risk in financials, so they get all drama, they get like soap opera. And I'm assuming you'll get some of that same thing happen in real estate a little bit more. Probably have a little bit more of that. Maybe we are done, but anyways. So what does that mean, right? If we're looking at this business cycle, we're probably looking at tech performing, just not overperforming. Discretionary, probably staying pretty strong ish. Doing okay. Commercial services probably ripping face off.
This stream is sponsored by TickStrike.
You also
allows
see
you to actually hear order flow in futures, forex, and stock instruments. Get a free trial at tickstrike.com.
A lot of fervor right now around social media. A lot of companies this past 2 weeks have been quietly announcing their forays into social media. An expansion of services in social media, not just Company X by Elon Musk, but there's some other companies that are all like dabbling in it right now. And so XLI with a beautiful dip nice double bottom in XLI, right? Got a beautiful one down here on March 13th and 14th. I'm interested in XLI here, believe it or not. You might look at the XLI here and say, "Oh, this is all bad," but XLI specifically has a lot of demand, right? They had demand in December, demand in March, and price hasn't really shown itself in XLI. So I'm like, yeah, look at all this. I mean, just look at XLI. It's like just primed and ready to go. Just primed and ready to go. So we'll talk about it again. XLI. We talked the last time I had this conversation with you we discussed XLC. And if I dig that video up, I guarantee I can find the hour conversation what I had, and I said, let's look at some of these companies in XLC. And they've done nothing but rip faces off. We talked about Home Depot, Lowe's, McDonald's, all those companies. They've done nothing but rip faces off since that time we talked about those companies. And there was a whole discussion that we had, and I was like, look at all these companies right here. They're all inside of the they're heavyweighters inside of these S&P 500 sectors, and they're already being front run. So, with all of that said, catch a breather here. All that blabbing out of the way. I find it hard to believe that if we're rotating into a bottom and into a new business cycle, that I expect a market crash. I'm not going to do it. And furthermore, I'm going to expect a better performance out of the S&P 500 than I am maybe out of tech right now. Tech will do well, but not like the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is cycling into sector after sector. So if you're looking for some downside this summer, we talked about this yesterday and the day before. Where's the risk, right? This whole past week, it's like, where's the risk into summertime? Commercial real estate, possibly. Some kind of drama with that. We know the Fed is saying one more rate increase and then a pause. We know that as long as they pause rates, and we know as long as they increase rates, that we haven't broken anything. So unless they do some pausing of some kind, not pausing, but rate cutting of some kind, markets should trade to the sideways and up, right? Should trade to the right and up. So the business cycle seems like it's saying, hey, we're moving on. So I don't see vol from the only thing I can see vol from the Fed from. I mean, we'll get some intraday vol, like Fed raises rates, we sell off. Okay. But is it the market crash? Probably not. We have rotation into other sectors in the S&P 500. So should the S&P 500 crash if we're rotating in other sectors on a large scale? Probably not. Debt ceiling, we've talked about that. We know the last time that made a difference, last time that the debt ceiling actually created real vol, we crashed, I think, I want to say June 1st or right in and around there. I actually think we could get that vol prior to what we got it, when we got it. The last time, I think, my thought process is here is either if everyone's going to load into that trade in June, maybe they do it in May. Or maybe it comes at the end of June. If everyone's expecting it in June and everybody's loading tits full of puts for the debt ceiling crisis, but just because they want it really bad, I don't know what to make of that, right? Everybody's just like short. So I don't know if the debt ceiling can do it unless it's real. It has to be real. For it to send us over a cliff. It's probably going to be worth at least getting some 0-to-8 puts, not 0-to-8s, but like OTM puts or something. Some kind of like lotto ticket for the month of June. Maybe get them in May before everybody else does and collect the premium on that trade heading into June. And if it happens before June, so much the better. If it doesn't, then we just squeeze higher and higher and higher into the end of June. Maybe take the trade a second time. OTM puts again. Dirt cheap. Pay 4,000 or 5,000%, 10,000% if it happens. So what's the cost layout to benefit? Pretty fucking low, right? That's how you deal with the debt ceiling in June. There are people out there. I think Chase Winter said the other day, he was talking about the market can go wherever it wants after this OPEX due to the pin that's into OPEX, the options complex, stuff like that. And I think bears are looking for that too. They're like, hey, all these options are going to close into OPEX, and the pin into 420, 410, or whatever is released from the market. It can go wherever it wants to go. But we saw last quarter what happened, right? Last quarter, it didn't go down. Well, it kind of went sideways, end up. It definitely didn't go up and monetize. Let's see here. It just went like, look at this. I'm looking at February 2nd. We just like melted higher. So January 1 of 2023, we just kept going up, right? We just ripped faces into into the second, into February 2nd. So we're on 419. Congratulations to all the hippie pot smokers out there. It's almost 420. It's a world holiday for a lot of people, I guess. We ended up ripping faces, and then not only did we rip faces, we squeezed unrelenting into February 2nd, right? Like face ripping. We ripped faces off into February 2nd of 2023. We got a pullback into March 13th to 379, 380. We didn't even get to 3,600. That magnet didn't do shit. And then we traded up to where we are. We traded right up into what? To March 30th, to those previous highs that we had. And you have JPM raising the bottom of the collar. JPM's telling you volatility is lower. We're not getting the vol from Jerome Powell. So where's the volatility at? Is I guess my question. Like circling back around to where is the volatility? Now, where is the volatility? The other thing too is I'm noticing in my own trading the past few weeks that any mistiming, any wrong trade seems like if you just hold, it prints eventually. Get a weekly call or something, a monthly call. Those dips are all being bought. So there's money coming back into the stock market. Not a ton, but there's some money coming back into the stock market. It's a little more forgiving than it's been in the past. I mean, so just based on prior experience into the end of the month, I would say the risk is to the upside, not to the downside. It's likely to the upside in the end of the month. That's where the risk is. The risk, I don't see it to the downside. I'm not seeing it in the VIX either. I see that grind higher. I see that. I see the grind force going a forceful trade to the upside. So we talked last week too about the jagged trade. I showed you guys the VIX where it like just trades jaggedly, up down $1, half dollar, $1. It just like the VIX just ends up grinding. And that's pretty much what's been happening. We did have some pretty big selling of vol yesterday. And price wasn't reflected in the S&P 500 either, was it? Talked about yesterday about how the price to the upside wasn't reflected in the vol selling taking place in VIX. A little bit of a bid in VIX right now. Looking for a quick reversal here. If not, all the better. So I'm trying to find the volatility. Where there one of the guys from Ukraine yesterday or 2 days ago, I don't know if he's the or not Zelensky, but one of his like top generals or somebody, doesn't make a ton of predictions, and he made a public prediction a day or two ago that victory was near. Now supposedly this guy doesn't fluff talk. So we've discussed on the channel of a few different scenarios. That do we get a truce this summer? Is there a bloodbath this summer? Does it become like a mass casualty event that draws intervention from the UN or a truce? Or even just something that's a mass casualty event in Ukraine where a lot of Ukrainian soldiers get run over. I don't know if it's Russians. I don't know if it's Ukrainians. They get run over, or if that's the vol for this. I'm trying to find like the vol, the event that could do that. Is it commercial real estate maybe? Is it unknown rate hikes? Is it debt ceiling? Is it Ukraine war? Something unseen. I mean, there are a lot of knowns, right? We had a lot of known reasons for volatility last year. And believe it or not, the year before, and believe it or not, in December of 2020, we had a lot of reasons, right? Heading into the end of the year of 2020, we did get the bear market actually started in December of 2020. Whether you know that or not, we were taking. Matter of fact, an old close friend of mine. I don't talk to him as much anymore, but Horse Lover Fat. I used to be closer to him, and we were all selling out of stocks in December of 2020. There was a lot of bulls on FinTwit that were like, "Why are you doing this?" We're like, "We're out of here, man. Take the money and fucking run." And whether you know, some of you know this, a lot of the people that don't know this are not in the market any longer. They lost everything. And they got rolled. They got rolled hard. There are participants in the stock market that just in 2020 that were buying tops on some real, not risky, but just really speculative growth shit, and all their money just went gone. And they were sent back to Wendy's. You don't hear from those people anymore. They're just gone. So the bear market's been going on for a long time here. Is my point. And for the downside to the S&P 500, I don't know where that is or what triggers that right now. To happen. Trying to knock and see if we can get through this. I'm hoping to see us. That's what I'm looking for right now in the next few minutes, just to give you guys an idea of what I'm looking for here. I want to see this here. Now, if this doesn't happen here, and price starts to break below the white line, I'll close my longs for Friday, take a short in here, or a long put position for further downside. So as long as this doesn't happen here, I'm staying long for this trade higher here into Friday. I'll just leave the 5-minute chart here so you can see it. It's a little gap hiding up on here. Maybe you can see that gap right there. A nice little gap over here. We'll talk about Tesla today as well. I like the idea of buying Tesla this morning too, but not on weeklies. On the opening bell, I like the idea of buying Tesla down here this morning. But with a longer trade, like spreads for a month, in the money spreads. I think like the for risk to reward, if you're going to take like I guarantee that there will be people in this stream today asking if they should buy zero dates on this bell on Tesla. I think if you were to put risk onto an upside trade on Tesla, into like people are like, oh, I want to trade the Tesla ER. It's probably started at 9:30, and you'll exit that trade at 2:30, 3:30 in the afternoon, and you'll let the plebs hold into the overnight on Tesla, and then what you'll do is you'll close for profit, and then what you'll do is pick that trade back up again after their ER report. That's right. Get on up there. Please don't reverse here. But I like the Tesla. I like the Tesla today trade. Like patience favors those that have patience with Tesla. There have been dip buyers on Tesla, even though price is showing lower on Tesla. There have been relentless. There has been stupid dip buying on Tesla. Just accumulation. Unless Tesla fucks this up, it should rip some faces off here in the next week or two. Oh, ooh, yeah. Ooh, oh, yeah. Ooh, oh, yeah, baby. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. So, loving it. Now, next part of this trade. That's what I want to see right there. I don't care if we grind down here a little bit. My real concern is us getting thrown over right here, like this hourly trigger, this kind of stuff, this kind of nonsense, like liquid. This is where we get like liquidation breaks down here, like panic, panic, panic. Let's keep on watching this. So if you're Tesla bull, you know where the demand is. You know where the demand was on April 10th. You knew where the demand was on April 12th. You saw the demand on the opening bell. You knew where the demand was on March 20th. You knew where the demand was on March 15th. You had a little bit of a let it all hang out for Tesla on March 13th, though. We had a low of 163. Horseshoes and hand grenades, though. I bet you could take like a 163, 165 call spread for end of day or something. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Let me check the chat. Go to the chat. I haven't looked at the chat at all this morning. Let's say good morning to all of you out there. Well, I guess that nice pullback trade got fucked at this point, didn't it? Good morning, Omar. How are you? Good morning, David G. How are you? Morning, Mike, my brother. Price now above the 1 minute and 5 minute trigger. Remember that hourly trigger that I talked about up here right now? Ooh. Ooh. Oh. I'm right. Like yesterday, I was like, I was right. And of course, I'm replacing bad fucking trades. I'm like, I gotta stop listening to people and trade my own plan. I got some funny stories too to tell you guys today. Whoa, trading 413.03 right now. Woo, baby. Oh, baby. Give it to me raw. Give it to me dirty. You doing well, David? Right on. I got some golf coming up. Kind of excited. Gonna bang some balls today. I want to get out there tomorrow and play around if I can. Supposed to be so we had like snow. Then we had like 30-degree weather, and then we have 50s today. We had like 2 warm days last weekend. This winter in particular, I'm not from here. I'm from out west, like not the coast, but I lived out the coast here and there, but basically I'm from the west. Western mountain states. So I spent most of my adult life living in Western mountain states. So Michigan, this winter in particular, low snowfall. But I haven't checked yet what the gray days were this year. It's got to be a record. this winter has been so gray. It's like impacted. I was just talking to a buddy. I was like, I'm taking vitamin. I'm like just pounding vitamin D pills. Go outside, doesn't matter. It's just not enough sun. I feel like I've been living up in Antarctica, and finally getting some sun. We got 2 days of sun. We got one this morning. The sun was out. I'm like throwing open all the windows. I'm just like, get that sun on me. And we've got now 2 days of it lined up. So I'm getting all giggly like a child, teenage girl. Yeah, it's seasonal disorder, 100%, man. This year in particular. So it wasn't particularly cold. We didn't get a lot of snow. In my view, we didn't, but we got a lot of gray days. And I think I would gander that with this winter we just went through, we got more gray days than like Portland or something. I'd bet that we got more gray days here, like overcast days, than likely any other place in the United States. So I'm just like begging for some sun. Yeah, gray and windy. Exactly. Like cold, but not cold enough. Not enough like snowstorms to break the gray. Like that's the other part. If you get the snowstorms, you get, if you're a skier, you know what you get? You get a bluebird day, right? The end result is all that humidity in the air it sprinkles down to the ground. Then you get like a couple kick-ass bluebird days, even if it's cold. That's the difference, right? I don't really care if it's cold as long as I get a bluebird, bright, sunny day. It just does something. Yeah, that's like when Boston, you get the first 60-degree sunny day, girls go wild and rock bikini tops, everyone's convertibles down. Everybody's got their IROCs out with the T-tops off. I think here in Michigan what they call it is fakes. They had a word for it someone was using. They were calling it a fake summer or something, or something winter. There's a funny ass term they use for it here in Michigan where they're like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll be back to winter in a few days." Cleaning out some of these cellars down here right now. The vacuum cleaner.
This stream is sponsored by To The Tick. Get free daily pivot points, Fibonacci, and market profile levels by signing up at tothetick.com.
JLVJR1 is saying Seattle, Washington, and Parma, Ohio are like the two cloudiest places in the U.S. This is why NASA considered them both for building there. They ended up in Parma, Ohio because it was intended, or inland and not near an ocean. Yeah. Don't get sad. Definitely not. Well, the weekend helped me, and then of course this morning I was like, I want to fucking be outside all day long today. And so this morning I'm like, I'm looking at the open this morning. I'm like, I'm not coming in today. And then I'm like, they just hit that sweet spot on SPY this morning, and I'm like, oh, we're right there for a dip buy. I'm like, I'm probably getting a fucking trend day today. I'm like, if I take the day off, it's like the stock market's every day is a fucking soap opera, right? So you're like, can we trade sideways today? Can we get another day of sideways? And then I'm like, no, we're at the bottom end. We're pretty much at the bottom end of trading to the upside. Close enough horseshoes and hand grades. 411.47, I'll take it. I was looking for this yesterday and didn't get it. Like 411, I don't know, 403, 404 if I was lucky. Time was running out in my view to get down to 403, 404. Like the clock was ticking. Clock's ticking. We got Thursday and Friday. You know, today's Wednesday. We got 2 more days. And these fucking banks want to print their shit. And I don't think these banks want to print their shit at 410. 400 and 403. So my guess here is we got 2 more days. If you're a bear, I'm going to not warn you, but I told you this earlier. Told you this weeks ago. I'm going to repeat it. Because I tell you guys, before, never after. Remember that. Before, never after. So, and that's the real fucking brass tacks. So, my point here is, if you're a bear, you want to start selling like that selling may go away shit. You might have to fucking wait until like the second, third, fourth, fifth. Or at least if you're going to try to sell May, I would say, can I take a squeeze higher into first week of May? So make sure you're building it around. If you're like building around selling May, just be like, hey, can I take a squeeze higher from here? And into like May 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 15th, even possibly. I don't think it gets that crispy. But like, unless price proves otherwise. So you put the trade on that sells May. I would have you'd probably have better luck in tech than you would in S&P 500. Get your notepads out. Get your fucking crayons out. And if you are any Marines out there, get your triangle crayons out so they don't roll off the fucking table. Get out your coloring books. If you want to sell May, then as before, I always right around this time I like the idea of ratio spreads. And I think you should probably go after tech more than S&P 500. I think that I would tamper your expectations for downside moves in the S&P 500. So if you're like, hey, I want to sell the S&P cap, I'd be like, okay. And there's people out there saying the JPM collar, we're gonna roll down to fucking, I don't know, 3,300 or something like that. I'd be like, yeah, how about start with something more in the money, and then you trade it level down to that 3,300 or whatever. So if you're still in that collapse mode, just take it level to level in the S&P 500, right? I talk about that a lot with the S&P 500. I'm like, you have to go level to level. You can't just be like, I'm fucking max short right now. Because there's nothing saying that you should be. There's no vol that I can think of that's saying like max lever short here. It could be there. I don't fucking see it. So if something's really truly overbought, like crazy overbought, like NVIDIA or something, sure. You can do that. You can probably use TLT as well to look for when to time that, right? If TLT can get down a little bit more, you might be able to time the market roll with that using TLT. I would temper your expectations in the S&P 500 and probably try to target specific shit that's been just ripping faces off since October, December. Army always has to bolster their low self-esteem by making fun of Marines. Love it. G.I. Joe, baby. Yeah, Ohio sucks. Besides affordability, yeah, I agree with that. There's some good parts to Ohio, but I have family with homes there. I couldn't live there. And matter of fact, I live in Detroit for as a matter of fact, well, it's due to wanting to be a part of like a 20-year, 30-year plan of buying very cheap for an expectation that Detroit's going to make a comeback someday. It's mostly for my kids' wealth and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I want them to have cultural experiences too, and not be growing up most of their lives in a rich ski town. Because I do believe we only live one life, personally. So, as a matter of fact, on that same note too, I was looking at a place called Highland Park. It's in Michigan. It's outside of Detroit. And it's kind of sandwiched. It's this very poor community outside of Detroit. It's part of Detroit, Detroit-ish. But they just declared bankruptcy, and it had some approvals on bankruptcy take place. They have real water problems. They went bankrupt over water bills. The Detroit water mafia is kind of fucked up. And Highland Park is like one of those places that could be a great town. And it's like near Royal Oak and Ferndale and all these really hipster places. The North End got bought up for really dirt cheap money, and it boomed. And Highland Park's coming to this end of this resolution phase. So I'm gonna leave Detroit, and now I'm like yesterday. I exercised, and then I went into a rabbit hole of a place called Highland Park, and I'm sure if you were to look at it, it's very risky. This is very risky real estate. I have to admit it's very risky. But if I was to tell you, hey, if you look at a place called Highland Park, Michigan, you should buy everything that comes to auction this year, you'd be like, you're crazy. And of course, I'm like, well, if I spend a couple $100,000, probably turn it into multi-millions of dollars with enough time on my side. So buying financials right now, regional bank financials. I'm trying to buy real estate. I think there's one more community here that could explode. Yeah, that's my problem so my biggest issue here is it's great because they have inland seas, right? They got Great Lakes and stuff. There's my main issues here are this: no mountains. That's a problem for me because I'm mountain centric. Everything I do is focused around being outside the mountains, and then no ocean to surf in. For me, that's two big ones. Now I can get away with the sailing. Water sports are great here. They've got they got some good, decent single track ish stuff, so you can get a fix on. There's some skiing here, but one of the cool parts about living here is that I can travel anywhere I want. So if I want to go out west and ski in the winter, done. If I want to send my wife somewhere to go skiing and live like a rock star, done. If I want to send my kids somewhere to go skiing, done. No problems. Fly wherever we want, ski wherever we want. But I'm thinking more about my kids' wealth down the road. I want generational wealth. That's what I want. My goal is generational wealth for my family, and I know that I can't have that generational wealth living in most of those places. So, but those are two big issues here. Now, another issue here is integration has been a challenge. It's not unattainable. It's just been a challenge. Finding out what is fun here is not easy. You just have to get out there and find what's good here, because there is a lot of cool shit here. I'm not going to say there isn't, but getting to that point where, hey, I didn't like that, or hey, that was boring, or I'm not into that stuff. But then there's a lot of stuff here that is a blast, that you can make your time here fucking phenomenal. And I know that Detroit is portrayed as a war zone. I just watched fucking Joe Rogan, a short or a clip or something. I was scrolling through the shorts or whatever, and some fucking guy, or Joe Rogan was with whatever his face, and they're like, Detroit's a shithole. And I'm like, no, it's not. And they're like, I'm like, what is this image that Detroit is a complete fucking shithole? This is I don't know, every LA, Austin, fucking these people think that I don't fucking travel or something. I've been to all these places. Fucking, you want to see some shitholes? Texas has more fucking shitholes than Michigan. I know they do. Texas, I've been there. I've been all over fucking Texas. So I'm like, this is bullshit. LA, more shitholes than Michigan. New York, more shitholes than Michigan. You tell me a state, and I've seen their shitholes. Salt Lake City has a shithole in it. Was it West Valley or something? Fucking war zone. It's not a war zone, but it's pretty shitty. No offense if you're from West Valley. But it's like he's speaking to people that haven't moved anywhere. It's weird. There's a lot of the conversation out there has to do with, if you look at the demographics of the US, it's like what, 15% or 30%? Less than 15% of people have traveled the world. So you're talking to stupid people. Like, you discuss something overseas, they likely have zero reference to it. Likely 7 out of 10 people, I could say some shit about another country and you would have no fucking clue if it's real or not, because you've never been there. Then you've got this is 85% of Americans haven't left the country. Then you have 30% of the U.S. population hasn't fucking left their region or state. I shit you not. So if I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm going to say Detroit's a shithole, I already know that 30% of the U.S. believes that. And I'm like, Detroit's got some greatness to it. And especially the last 5 years or so, it's made a huge turn. Maybe it's longer. The COVID years, I can't count those years. COVID's just a big giant black hole. So maybe the past 8 years,
This stream is
Detroit has
sponsored
made
by
huge
TickStrike.
progress.
TickStrike allows you to actually
and
hear
reminds me of other
futures,
mid-sized
forex,
cities.
and stock instruments.
It
Get a
does.
free trial at
Whole huge
tickstrike.com.
Where are we going right now? What are they doing right now? Trading 413.13. Make my money back today. So, it's just this weird thing. Anyways, cost of living here is great. And I get more money than you. My money goes farther. I save more than you. And I get to go wherever the hell I want. I can go anywhere. Major international flights here. I can fly anywhere I want. I can do whatever I want. I can ensure that my kids are, for me personally, I wanted to make sure my kids are taken care of. Dude, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head right now, but they're wild. If you look at the numbers, they're insane. I think it's 50%, or there's a whole swath of people who have never left their region. I'm from New England, and I've never left New England. Or I'm from New England, and one time I went to New York, or one time I went to D.C. I'm calling you out, New England, because I know you people too. And I know that there's a whole swath of people from New England that have never fucking left. I know that when I lived in the mountain states, we would get Midwesterners, and Midwesterners would be like, we've been saving up for this trip our entire lives. We finally went to Vail. I've been planning this my entire life. We had kids. This shit's costing me 30, 40, 50 grand. And we finally made it. It's like Disneyland for a skier. I'm going to Disneyland. What Disneyland? I'm going to Vail. So, when you got, Californians? Dude, when I lived in California, you got Californians that have never fucking left the state. No reason to. I get to ski. I get to surf. I get to do mountain biking. I can do whatever I want. I got no reason to leave. Or you meet a Californian I'm like, where you been? They're like, Hawaii. I'm like, where else? Nowhere else. I'm like, okay. So I was listening to Joe Rogan short, and I was fucking pissed. Because they're pushing this fucking narrative about people. I fucking hate narrative pushers. I do. That shit burns my ass. I served my country, right? Served my country for an ideal. It's an ideal. Now, we suck as a country in a lot of things, but you can't give up hope. Fighting to protect people, fighting to protect freedom, all that kind of stuff. So, and those fucking false narratives, man. That shit pisses me off. Just perpetrating that shit. Michigan roads are complete trash. I'd put them one step. They're like, if there's like a worst roads in the country, then we had to like 1 to 10, 10 being the worst. They're not a 10. Arkansas is a 10. Arkansas's got the worst roads in the United States of America, hands down. But Michigan, they get all that money they want to keep everybody employed. They want to keep building. They always like to keep working on the roads, getting those federal pork barrel money into the state. It's a big pork barrel state. Huge pork barrel state for roads specifically. Same with their utilities too. Arkansas is like number 10. I'm sorry. If you're from Arkansas out there and you're watching right now, I apologize. You're like number 10. But not far behind is, believe it or not, parts of Texas. Like you move from like Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, sugarcane trucks, all that kind of shit. Those roads are bad. There's some bad roads. Yeah, Oklahoma, I-40, man. Arkansas has roads. I think Arkansas's got half a road, too. Shouldn't I say that? I'm like driving through Arkansas. I'm like, I'm on a highway right now. It's a one fucking lane road. I'm like, we're sharing one lane. And people drive in Arkansas like they drive in New Hampshire. Like a bat out of hell. So you like come around a corner in Arkansas and it's like 15 feet wide. And you're like kicking up dirt off the side of the road. There's no striping. And it's like a highway. Yeah, I don't have I can't comment on. I don't recall Montreal potholes. I recall how cold Montreal gets. People say New Mexico has the worst roads. I didn't mind New Mexico roads. You know what the funniest part about New Mexico was to me? Was you're like I'm going 90 miles an hour on the highway, and then there's like I come around, swerving around a corner in a highway in New Mexico. Like the corners in New Mexico are like huge. They're like 10 miles long, a curve. And then you got like this big hill you're going over and down, and then you're like come around the corner, and there's a fucking jalopy. There's like some old guy, and he's like in the left-hand lane, and he's driving this truck that's all beat up and rickety. And he's going like 45, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get out of the way. And as I'm driving by, he's like, yeah, fuck you, man. I'm like, all right. that's my I'm pulling the Joe Rogan, trying to label to counter his arguments. I love New Mexico. It's one of my favorite. It's become Utah used to be my favorite state for like having everything. The one thing Utah has is it's close to Vegas, and then another shot into L.A. No, dude, I don't want I don't want an update right now. New Mexico, though, man, New Mexico's a great state. The best part about New Mexico is the culture, people. Oh, oh, oh! Did you buy the Open? People want to know. Did you buy the Open? I want to know. Did you buy the Open? I want to know. Did you buy the Open? Talk to Daddy. Talk to Daddy right now. Tell me in the chat. Did you buy the Open? Well, I guess you're getting pretty fucked up right now if you didn't. Squeeze them up there. Just squeeze them all up in there. Coming into a 3 trigger cluster here. Straight vertical white bar here. Bull flag forming. We need to see if the bulls can hold on here. And blast higher back to the pivot. Not a bad move. Not a bad move. Cluster, Brian Melcher. Cluster. It's a cluster, baby. Whew. Good thing we bought the open, huh? Good thing we bought the opening bar down there. Just grinding higher right there. Grind, 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 grind. Look at that. Beautiful. You just jump on board that train down here. You ride it all the way up like it's nothing. And you just ride it up. I like Coos Bay. You're welcome, David G. Whole bunch of gaps up here.
This stream is sponsored by To The Tick. Get free daily pivot points, Fibonacci, and market profile levels by signing up at tothetick.com.
Yeah, you're welcome, David, brother. Cluster. I see you out there, Brian Melcher. Morning, Anna. How are you? Gorgeous. Gorgeous trend day on the S&P 500. Oh! Oh! I just reposted that trend day tweet. Oh, baby. Trading 413.51 right now. 413.56 right now. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. A new low in the VIX just now, trading like a penny stock, the VIX. Can we get down to 14 or 1634? Were you guys drinking the Kool-Aid on FinTwit? You probably were. I wasn't on FinTwit. I was too fucking busy, but I bet the Kool-Aid was flowing. I bet that Kool-Aid was like, I mean, it was like a punch bowl. You want some? Here's some for you. You want some? Here's some for you. It has begun. Right on, Dylan. $413.58. Woo! New low on the VIX. Accounts blown up. I love you. If you're out there, I love you. Grinding up to the top of the descending triangle. Now, if we were a traditional chartist, let's take a look at this right here. This is where my concern comes in. Let me show you guys something. I don't rely upon this shit because it doesn't mean shit. We'll take a look at something. If you're a traditional chartist. $30-minute chart right there. Right? Just looking in here, right? Remember we were talking yesterday and I was like, you got to get above this shit up here so we can start squeezing. We don't get above and they keep selling this. I said to you yesterday, the traditional chartists are going to say, chase that hole down into tomorrow. There it is right there. Right? Now we've squozen up. And it's the same. We're at the same thing right now. Right? Same kind of a place right now. Bears are going to tell you, no, we're going to sell down here into tomorrow. And then you'll get your Friday mega squeeze. So is this possible? Yes, it is. But time is running out for a fucking bear. Time is running out. I'm going to be looking for some kind of a dribble. And then we've got Thursday and Friday to get up there into 415, 420. Something like that. So there could be an argument made for a sideways and down trade. Then we just start squeezing faces off into Friday. Right? I don't know if that's Friday. That's 21st. So there's the move right there. It just took place. I'm sure there's a fucking bear out there somewhere that's like, sure there's a bear out there that's like, we can't go up from here. Well, you know, we had a higher high over there. And we had a higher high over there. There's no reason here. There's nothing saying we haven't, have we? Because we went up here and went like that, right? Then we went up here and went like that, right? There's nothing saying we can't go something like that either. It does it. 417, 418. Maybe we do the squiggly up into OPEX tomorrow or even into Friday up in there and just try to get as high as you possibly can. Possible. I'll take my chances with us going up into the next couple days. Take my chances. Bought the dip down here this morning. Bought this. I don't know. I'll take my chances. I'll take my chances. I need us to break below 411 in the next 2 days. For that to happen Thursday, Friday. My assumption here is that a bear is saying that we're going to close Friday below 410. I'm going to disagree with you. I disagree. I disagree. I don't think we close below 410 on OPEX. I disagree. Where's the vol? What's the event vol? Why is there money coming back in the market? We had no reason to go higher. No reason. I think we have a reason to go higher now. I meant to bring this up last week, and I didn't get to talk about it. Like the weekend, I was thinking about this. I texted a buddy and I said, "Sentiment matters," and I think I might have tweeted that too, because it was on the top of my mind about sentiment and how important it is. And we don't always get to discuss sentiment too often. I had a few conversations with some friends this week where I was like, if I've got money in a bank making 5%, it's not outrunning inflation. If the Fed's telling me they're not going to fight inflation, I have to outrun it. And if my money's been on the sidelines for like 1, 2, 3, 4 years, at some point I got to be like, fuck it, I got to get back into something that's going to make me some money. And then that's part of sentiment. There's like a part of sentiment where is there anything out there looming? The Fed, danger. The Fed just told you we're going to support anything that breaks. So if you're like an old person or something, you're like, oh, they're going to support everything. They're saying they're going to, and I'm not saying this is real, or that it's going to matter. But my point here is sentiment. And, just a month or two ago, in October and December too, I guess, October and December, we're all looking at 420 going, yeah, that's not possible. We've got so much shit ahead of us. This is before the banking crisis and all that kind of shit. So, like, can we go higher? It's a very simple question. Can we trade 420? Can we trade 430? Can we trade 460? Can we trade an all-time high? If the question becomes, is the answer fuck no? Or is the answer likely no, but there's a chance? Is the answer maybe? Is the answer there's an outside chance? And think about that. Think about sentiment from the human side of the stock market. And it does play a role. There are still humans out there with money, like control a lot of money, even though they trade with algorithms. There are humans that still make a decision saying, yeah, I love these algorithms, but I've got a knack, or I've got a itch saying we can go higher. It's possible. Even if it's a low chance of actually getting there, there has been a little tiny, like a tick of sentiment shift from depths of hell to, am I going to miss a run? Is it possible that the market moves higher? We don't actually have to trade there. We just have to, the sentiment shift. No, I feel it. I see it. So 413.34, question becomes, is that too high? Well, I'll tell you what, right now on the 5-minute chart, right now what's forming we know the market hates to front run shit. Now, I'm not saying this is here yet. We're not there yet. This is the future. We want to see if we get consolidation and then confirmation that we're going higher. Or we just start fucking blasting up there and then roll down here. Either of these. If you're a bear, you want to see a break. Anything down here, you want to see the price. You want to see price. If you're a bear, you want to see a bull trap. So you want to see the reversal and the confirmation that we're going lower. But this right here is unlikely. I want you to know that. If it happens, I could see some consolidation in here. I ain't seeing the roll yet, so I see this we've got VIX expiration too, right? I mean, fuck, if you're gonna sell the VIX, you might as well, right? If we're down here, you might as well sell the fuck out of the VIX. Might as well reprice the VIX. If we don't have any big vol events expected, if we're not expecting the Fed to do anything crazy, if we're expecting the Fed to support, if we're expecting the Fed to continue to raise rates and pause, but not cut rates, there's no vol there. And we're not at the debt ceiling yet. We're not at the summer offensive yet. Watch out here. There's a liquidity break going on in the market right now. Be very careful here. Warning if you're a bull. Morgan Stanley's Gorman saying, I don't expect any rate cuts to happen this year. That's actually bullish. That's actually fucking bullish. Gorman also saying at least 2 more rate hikes from the Fed are possible. That means that you expect the market to be stabilized for a year. Truthfully, that's what it means. Like, all honesty. It means stabilized markets for a year. That's Morgan Stanley making that statement. So if you're not going to have volatility this year, or it's not right now, you have to reprice the VIX. Can't be fucking trading $30 fucking dollars on the VIX. If there's no known vol in the future, or at least now, I mean, I guess you can get 30 in June or July with the debt ceiling. But I mean, fuck $20. We probably need to go to 11, 14. How about not 11? I wouldn't say 11. 11 would be bull run. So if 11's bull run, if 11 is bull run and we're not bull run, we're at 1651. Probably trade 1475, 1411. 1475, 1411. Like 14, 15 bucks. You know how you know how there was a time when you could buy the VIX at 19, 20 bucks? And you kind of had a pretty safe bet. Like, I'm going to buy the VIX at 19, 20 bucks. We're likely going to roll over here and trade the VIX to 30. Worked quite well. But if we ain't got nothing on the table, guaranteed, I don't know that it's a new bull market, but if we're going to have a stabilized market for a year, 14 sounds kind of reasonable. 15 sounds kind of reasonable. And shit, for coming into expiration, it's got to be a good time to do it, right? Set the tone, set the standard. Going back for a new high on the S&P 500 on the SPY. VIX trading like a penny stock. Turn on Amazon and the Google Bros will go wild. You guys want to see Amazon right now? I think he's been talking about it all morning. Ooh. Amazon Bros. Face rippers. Amazon. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon trading above its weekly, its hourly, its 5-minute, its 1-minute. Super bullish. How high can Amazon go? Just look right here on my cursor. Yeah, it's getting there. I wouldn't get too crazy. Well, it does look super fucking bullish here, doesn't it? These bulls on Amazon, what do they want? Like, Amazon shouldn't go up anymore, Cap. I'm like, how does $123 sound to you? How about 120? Can Amazon go to 120? Yeah, it can. Tesla. Love all this buying in here in Tesla. Even though price isn't showing itself. Tesla price target above 183. Microsoft. $30-minute chart.
According to Punchbowl News, McCarthy is to release the debt limit bill text today. Just to repeat, McCarthy is to release the debt limit bill text today.
Still not done going up right now. Buy the dip. 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 Just mean streets. Getting a little toppy. It's getting a little over long in the tooth in here. It's getting a little long in the tooth. Looks like sell their earnings. Gorgeous clusters down here on Microsoft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whole bunch of stuff back here, though. That could take all year. Come back up here, close up all this 337 and stuff. I'm gonna expect Microsoft to perform just not as it's gonna take time. It's coming into resistance right now. You can see it getting pushed down a little bit right here. You want to take profit at 287. If price gets above and stays above and confirms a move higher, you'll take another long on Microsoft. That's what you want to see here. It's 287.60. You want to see the trade go above it, confirm that the trade is higher. This is price right here. And you want to see, you put a stop underneath it. And it's going to take some time for this to come up. The 30-minute chart shouldn't take all day long. And that's where the big money is right there for Microsoft. Big burr money. Alexa, be quiet. That's what the bulls are looking for. Microsoft at a place of rejection. Not a place to be long on Microsoft. You want to get above. You want to get above 287.44. 287.44. You need to get above that, confirm, and then come back down and confirm that the move is higher, and then you'll get your next leg on Amazon. A little bit of weakness coming back to check the 5-minute. 412.80 on Z-Spy. We have the hourly trigger above here. 5-minute trigger is at 412.88 on the SPY. Look at all that supply up there. Look at that big old orange bar up there. It's just calling. It's like, come on up here. Come up there, baby. All these stink bids up there. There's 418. This stuff all up in here hiding. There's that 420 up there. We're going to talk about Tesla today. The trade this morning, if you were in the broadcast on the opening bell, I said the trade today is to take some Tesla spreads a week or a month out, some time on them in the money. You hold them for the rest of today. Likely close them into the end of the day. You could have just bought calls week or month out. Close them in before the end of the day today. I would expect some kind of weakness into the last hour or so. Sometimes people take the money and run, or put enough time on them, a week or 2 or 4 weeks out, that they'll actually print well for you. I don't like holding through Tesla, as there's a bunch of a bunch of really shitty money. There's a lot of uneducated. And I don't mean like trade like you're dumb. I mean like there's just a lot of dumb money that tries to throw money, like gambling money, at Tesla on an ER. Now, there's a huge difference between you that make $500 or $1,000 a week and you wasting that, not wasting, but trading all of your wealth on a Tesla ER that rips faces off, and some rich guy that is worth $1 million and he trades $1,000. So if I trade $1,000 and you trade $1,000, that's like 0.00001% of my money versus probably your whole paycheck for the week. So be careful on the squeeze on Tesla. Like we're gonna get paid. Tesla, for me, from my experience, for Tesla to rip some faces off overnight and hold, one rule: they must announce something tangible that is not priced in. I don't mean like, hey, we're gonna make a helicopter. I mean like, we delivered helicopters today, or we're splitting the stock, something like that. So if you don't get that, but you get a good earnings, let's say you're like, we got a great earnings. Why is it selling off? I'm going to say to you, you should have made it. So I get my point, or I'm leading into is, if you're going to scream and scream and scream and scream and scream about Tesla and how all these numbers are great and how all this shit is great and you're farting fucking rainbows, usually your best bet with Tesla is to wait a day, 2 or 3, take a long trade on Tesla after their ER report. If you're like, I don't want to wait for that just in case something happens and they split the stock, or I don't know, my fucking Cybertruck's sitting out in my driveway right now. You just didn't get yours yet, Cap. Okay. So then I would say to you, make sure you put some time on your trade. Like make it a spread or something that's a month out or 2 months out or 3 months. Believe it or not, 3 months out. And then you can ride through earnings and ride that rocket ship up. But just like throwing $1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 on some zero dates on Tesla is very risky. And mostly that has to do with dealers. They're going to try to print the up and downside target on your ER regardless of what happened. So the dealers, right, they're going to try to cover both sides of that trade. The only time a dealer will get on your side is when an event happens and they have to what's called chase. So they're going to chase with you, right? If they get overrun on how the market is hedged or unhedged, and they know they're going to get overrun, they're going to follow along with you chasing higher highs or lower lows. It's like really bad news in an ER or something like that. So outside of that news, the dealers are going to try to print both sides, and then they're going to fuck you. And we're talking price here, not your options. Not your options. They don't care about your options. Well, they do. They don't want your options to print. They're going to try to burn both sides of those options and hit the prices right at the same time, all of it at the same time. So let's look at Tesla and what's priced in on Tesla right now. Give me a second here. Yeah, this week's earnings, I'm looking for Tesla. Give me Tesla. What the fuck is Tesla in here? Give me a second here. Why am I having such a pain in the ass for time? Hold on a second here. So Tesla right now has an implied move of 6.3%. We did see Netflix trade outside of their implied move, but then of course it reversed course, right? Everyone's like Netflix should crash here, and of course we didn't get that, did we? We didn't get like the straight. We hit part of the we blasted through the downside target on Netflix when they reported. But what did we do by open? We were actually inside of the, I think the implied move was 7.3% on the downside. And we hit the upside target on Netflix at 8 o'clock at night, right? Traded 340.37, I think. Twice, I think we traded that for the upside target. So we didn't quite hit the upside target on, well, I guess we did. The implied move, we kind of hit it. And then you get the real move afterwards. So if you look at a chart of Tesla or Netflix, you might not have bars. I do on my end. But on these earnings, my point here in these earnings is this is for the up and downside. You're gonna get something. You're gonna like stay in this range. Is my point. At least as far as the options market is concerned. So Netflix, price wise, has hit both targets, and now you'll get the real move out of Netflix. Tesla only has an implied move by open, let's say, of tomorrow. By open of tomorrow, has an implied 6.3% move. Excuse me. Hang tight here. And not surprisingly, it's to the top of the key of their weekly. So Tesla, top of the key of their weekly is 6.5%. 6.3, almost to the T. Almost to the T. And that's 193.50. Downside expectation, it's roughly 172.50, something like that. 172 and change on the downside. I would expect that if we go down on these earnings, you'll see 164 at some point. Easy. So, there's something to be said for Tesla. And are we bullish or are we bearish on Tesla? And what their earnings expectations are going to be? Are they going to have any news? And then it also brings up the other conversation, and that is we're in OPEX. You really need some unknown tangible news. And if you can't get that unknown tangible news on Tesla, let's say have a decent or a good ER. Let's say have a decent or a good ER. You're likely not going to see Tesla trade that 190 and change for long, is my point. And you're likely then going to be tied to Tesla not printing that number for a few weeks. Could take you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Likely it's 1 to 3 days. You'll hear a lot of Tesla bulls say, I don't trade earnings. Now, you might miss one earnings where it rips faces off, but in truth, a lot of Tesla bulls will wait 1, 2, 3 days for a dip to hit the downside target, 172, probably 164. Then they'll go in and they'll buy some calls. So there's likely a trade today on Tesla, and then there's likely another trade on Tesla in 1 to 3 days. And when it comes to the macro environment, expecting a pullback at some point heading into early May, you might be able to get a good deal on Tesla like 172 at some point, 164 at some point. So I'd have it on your radar. Now, we did trade this morning 177. So, hand grenades and horseshoes, 177, 164. It's not a bad place to buy Tesla if you have a long enough time frame in your mind. So you could have done that this morning and just diamond hand through earnings. Make sure it's dated far enough out to get a move for Tesla. So you had a chance this morning on the opening bell on Tesla. If you didn't buy that opening bell and you're like, I faded the captain and bought a bunch of puts and my shit's on fire right now, that's fine. Your shit can be on fire. If you're sitting on your hands, there'll likely be an opportunity to buy 163, 177 at some point. If you're like, hey Cap, I'm gonna get left behind here. We're gonna have the best earnings we've had in years. The better trade, believe it or not, on Tesla is still above 222. That's actually the better trade. If you think we're going into a new bull market or a new bull run, I really want to buy Tesla. Like me, I don't own Tesla right now. I want to buy Tesla above 220 or at like $95 or $65. That's where I want to buy Tesla. Pretty vast, right? I want to see Tesla squeeze above 420 or 220, slam down and confirm, and then we get a start of a new bull run in the market. I'll buy that. But otherwise, I'm not buying it until it comes back down to $65 or $95, believe it or not. I don't need the 185 to 220. It's too volatile for my blood or my tastes. I wanna see a new bull market. To say, hey, we're going from 220 up to fucking rip some faces off at 500 or 1,000, or I want my chance to get Tesla cheap again, like I did the last time I bought Tesla. I like rent-free money. I like buying something cheap and not worrying about it, or I like some confirmation that the move is higher. Either one of those works for me. Either, yeah, I bought it at 90 bucks or 65 and I don't mind owning it for this price for the next 5 or 10 years, even if we continue to go down. Or I like to know that we're in a bull market. Like, yeah, we have some confirmation. We were able to actually escape these sellers, and we confirmed that we're not going down here. And the rest of the market is breaking above and heading to all-time highs. And I can feel good about it. So for me, at least right now, I'm not interested, or I'm interested in the Tesla trade for the rest of today, long into the close, or an hour or so before the close, wrap it up and get out of the market, or some more time on a trade, because I would like to see that 164, 170 get tagged at some point. I would like to see the upside target get hit, 192, 220. I would like to see those targets get hit. And if I have to chase along with dealers on some crazy good news, I'll do that too. Whenever Tesla has had big news, there's usually a moment in the next day's open where we'll just keep going up. So if we do have some unknown news with Tesla or Apple or any other stock, usually the following day, we rip faces off in the following day, come down for like 15 minutes, then right off and running again. You can chase that shit for days. It'll just blast off for an entire week. Like, it'll just rip faces. So I can enter then. I can actually enter the following day for some face ripper and chase dealers. Dealers will chase that shit for an entire week. If you want my take on Tesla, if it goes up here or not, I'll give it to you right now. 11:28. You want my thoughts on Tesla and Elon Musk? Does it go up here? Give me a second, and I'll look. You're probably not going to want to hear what I have to say. You're probably not going to want to hear what I have to say. You want my truth? Like true answer? You guys know I'm not a Tesla bear. I'm an Elon Musk bear, but I'm not a Tesla bear. What it looks like? It looks to me like any good news out of Tesla. It looks to me like any good news out of Tesla is quickly sold off. So if Tesla has a decent ER, I'm going to expect Tesla to have a decent ER. But I'm going to expect sellers to step in off of it. I don't think this is the move up on Tesla that you're expecting or that I want to see happen. And because it's such a high beta stock, I think it actually takes a hit with the market rolling over in May. I think that actually takes quite a bit of hit. I think it's possible to see like 192, 193, and then you'll go back down and revisit some previous lows, 160s, 170s into mid to late May. And I think that answers the question of I'm assuming that there's some bulls out there that are like, well, we'll have a great earnings and it'll be a new dawn for Tesla. I think that's false right now. Unless there's something unknown. It would have to be something unknown in their earnings. Something that we don't know. And it would have to be tangible. So that's what I see on Tesla. See if you guys have any questions on Tesla. Oh, hold on a second here. Getting some weirdness here. SPY coming back down to retest. We have a bullish cross right now on SPY. On the 5-minute chart, we're trying to retest the 1 and 5 minute here. We are in the hourly trigger. We're on a bullish cluster. We want to see the retest be successful and not catch a roll. I'm getting my screen is freezing. Some screen freeze here. Hold on a second here. Anyways, we want to see a successful retest in this move higher on the pivot. We don't want to see a breakdown below here and have this be a bull trap. I got some weirdness going on my end. So I can scroll back over here and reset all of this. The only real thing I'm paying attention to right here is this right here. This is a 5-minute chart on the SPY. And all I want to see is the successful retest here. If we can't get a successful retest here, hold on a second here. If there's a reversal here, which I'm not seeing so far. This is flattening out here. I don't like seeing this flatten. I don't like seeing the white line flatten right now. But what I want to see here is a successful retest for higher highs. But I don't like seeing the red line flatten here, and I don't like seeing the white line flatten right now. I want to see this white line continue higher here. And we're not seeing that. So we're seeing a little bit of sideways action in the SPY in the 5-minute chart here. And what you'll see is a reversal here to the downside. So we'll see what happens, what the interaction is like down here, and see what happens here on the SPY. Let me know what your predictions are if we get a reversal here or a successful retest to the upside. Let me know in the chat if you think this is just the retest for the bullish cross right here. Right there. Or if this is actually a bull trap. Make your case known. Retest, reversal, selling off on Bookmap. Reversal, we go sideways from here. I like Dawson Boys, what Dawson Boys saying. I agree with him. It's consolidation still. Manifesting a dump. I'm going to say retest because there's still... I'm having problems with my shit right now in the background here. I need to reset my router and thing every day. I'm going to say retest because it is still all that liquidity above. It's a good point, too. Bullish retest. Retest, good place. Volume dropping, so something likely to pop one way or the other. No feelings. Let's see what YouTube's saying here. Bull trap. That's right. So Jimmy Berry's making a great point. So Jimmy Berry's saying, if we're sell-off, it's going to be in the overnight. Right? Sell futures. Jimmy is correct. Jimmy is 100% correct. Jimmy knows. That's right. It's Rip Face is coming. Yeah, I'm on the bullish side here all day long. And just a confirmation that we're going higher. This is a bullish cross here. Yeah, they're selling futures right now, Jimmy. You can see it, right? And we need to can't get it done in, if you can't get it done in future, if you can't get it in cash market, might as well do it in futures. Yeah, I'm long into Friday. I'm long. I want that creepy crawly thing going all the way up in there. I want my now fire in the money calls to just keep printing. I'm reading all your comments out there. Squeezing higher now, trading 413.51. I always like asking these questions of people at key moments. Ah, shit. Trading 413.49 right now. Yes, I am. I am going to be trading crypto. Absolutely. I am taking a week off. I have 2 people, maybe 3, that are going to be joining us as streamers. I have 1 confirmed, 1 that I'm on my hands and knees blowing him in the background. I'm like, come on, man, because he's really good. And then I got a 3rd one that has shown interest. So the idea here is we can get a group of streamers together, and I don't have to stream 40, 50 hours every week. And I can start to delve into some other stuff with you guys. I can be like, I got somebody making videos, I got somebody doing a live stream, somebody gets a day off, and then we're gonna trade some crypto. And I'm also going to I'm going to TwitchCon. So I will be live streaming at TwitchCon one way or another. And I will be there. Probably going to break my face open or break my back in a foam pit or something. But I will fucking be there. So I will be at TwitchCon. And there likely will be 1 or 2 of you there with me. We'll talk about that later down the road. But I will be at TwitchCon, and we're going to lead up into that trading crypto so that we can trade crypto over that weekend. It'll be fun. I will be at TwitchCon. I did that work in the background. I'm going. It's going to be hilarious. I'm going to need Brittany to protect me out there so I don't get in any trouble. And I don't want to get any trouble out in TwitchCon. I'm probably going to cause trouble. I'm assuming at this point I'm going to cause some trouble out of TwitchCon. I'm probably going to get deplatformed there. Because I assure you, for nothing bad, I won't do anything like horrible. But I like to have fun, so. I'm not your pretty boy. I'm not your huckleberry. In real life, I like to have fun, so. I'm the kind of guy that you're like, hey, you want to go surf that 30-foot wave? I'll go do it. I'll try it at least once. So, in my view, I only live one life, so I want great experiences. So if you're like, hey, jump in that foam pit, I'll probably jump in that foam pit. Bottomless mimosas before TwitchCon. Oh, what are you gonna do? You probably watch me like standing up and throwing up into a bucket. It's like the hurricanes at in New Orleans. We'll make it fun though. It'll be fun. I think it'll be a shit show personally. I think it's going to be a shit show. But whenever I do this kind of stuff, it's always an adventure. Like Burning Man, Coachella, anything like this. It's always an adventure. I normally try when I do these things. I normally try to have like a group of people with me. Usually, I'll surround myself with 2 or 3 people that can pay their own way. You have to have like 2 or 3 people in the group that are not 100% poor. So this is for my time as a ski bum. My time as a surfer bum and a mountain bike and hiking bum. You meet different kinds of people and you want to go do some cool stuff, and you can't pick all your friends. Some of my friends are wealthy and some are poor. Some are work a normal job. Some have wives, some don't. Some have husbands, some don't. So you have to have like the perfect mix of people that you're with. And you always want to have, my viewpoint, like you always want to have like a hippie ambassador with you. They're normally poor, or they're trustafarians. They have to uphold the image that they're poor, but they're actually wealthy, but they won't tell you. So you have to like make sure there's always a bear for that guy or girl. Like they always need for something free. They want to share as long as it's yours, but they're ambassadors. They like get you through things. They're like you can use like not use them like using them, but like as a friend, be like, hey, I need you to talk to these people over here to get us in the back door. And they're like, those are my people, bruh. Don't worry about it. I'll get us in. And I'm like, sweet. I always call them the hippie ambassador. They bring a lot to the table when you do this stuff. They have access. They've spent their lives gaining access to shit they have no business gaining access to. If you want to gain access, always have a hippie ambassador. They know the ins and outs of everything. They'll like get you into Disneyland when you couldn't get into Disneyland. You'll meet nefarious people through your hippie ambassador. They're always nice too. Like the hippie ambassador's like friends with everybody. So you have to have a hippie ambassador. You have to have 2 or 3 people that can fund the trip, so you can enjoy the good things in life with the hippie ambassador. So you like take the hippie ambassador and you're like, hey man, you want to go do some really fun shit? And they're like, hell yeah. And the cool part about the hippie ambassador is if they're a hiker, a biker, a surfer, they do cool shit. Because you want to be arguing with somebody. I want to be like, hey, we're going to do something fucking like, we're going to have a blast. We're going to go jump out of an airplane. Typically, that hippie ambassador has done some crazy shit. And they'll be like, yeah, let's go jump out of the plane. I'll try it. And you're like, sweet. Let's go climb the top of this mountain. Like some of my best hiking trips have been with hippies. Like if you go do some dangerous shit, a hippie will do dangerous shit with you. And they won't even blink. So for all the like bad things, they're good to have around. Because they'll do shit with you. That normal people are like, fuck no, I ain't doing that. Are you crazy? Or they'll be like, hey man, I got $3,000 in gear on me. I've never actually used it. Whereas a hippie ambassador is like, I'm kicking a can down the street. But I will fucking do that with you. And I'm like, all right, sweet. We got to have so you got the hippie ambassador. You need 2 or 3 people to fund it that are like, don't care. Right? And they give you access. Because if you're friends with a hippie ambassador, people know that you're legit. They're like, yeah, I guess like that guy looks like a cop over there, but he's got a hippie ambassador friend. He's probably cool. Ding, you're in. And then you need at least 1, if not 2, mechanically inclined people. These are resourceful people. This is someone who, if you break down on the side of a highway, can fix a truck. You need 1 at least. And I don't mean an engineer. I mean like a handyman or a mechanic. Someone that has practical problem-solving skills. In case you find yourself in a disastrous situation, that person will get you out of it. In a logical, applicable manner quickly. Doesn't matter what the situation is. They're usually like plumbers, mechanics, tradesmen. You get into a fight somewhere in a bad part of town, that guy's going to be right there. You know, they work with their hands every day. They're a welder, something like that. Salt of the earth type person. You got to have 1 of those with you minimum. Yeah, dude. Oh, they can be computer scientists. That works. Same kind of guy or girl, doesn't matter. You got to have somebody that's like a problem solver. That's the key. You got to have a problem solver with you. Cuz problem solvers are very practical. You could be like you could have like the hippie ambassador. Well, first of all, you got the guy with money. And you know who that guy is, right? He's like Pamp. He's like, "We're going to the fucking moon this week." You know, and you want that guy there or that girl cuz you're like, I can dream that we're going to have this kick-ass time, and this person will make sure it happens and self-realize it. And then you got the hippie ambassador. He opens the doors for you. And then you get the problem solver. Because you're like, Pamp, how do we get up there? And Pamp's like, I have no fucking idea. I'm just gonna cheerlead that we're getting up there. So you got to turn to the guy that makes it happen or the girl that makes it happen. She's like, well, this is how we can actually make this happen. And you're like, okay, show me the way. So you got the dreamers, you got the person that can make it happen, and you got some accomplices. Those are the hippie ambassadors. Especially if you want to have a good time. There's no time in those situations where you want anyone around you that's going to panic. You don't want any panic going on. You don't want anybody that just wears nice shit, like, because you never know. You could be shitting in a hole somewhere. You could be shitting in a hole in some other country. You wake up in another country or something. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going back to my regular life. I'm going to TwitchCon. It's 4 days. And then a week later, you're like, I'm sitting in a valley somewhere with a mountain bike, or now I'm eating tacos on a beach in some foreign country. How did I get here? You need those 4 people to wind up there, or 5 people. Those 5 people will make sure if that is going to happen that you're going to get there. That's how you wind up. That's how you wind up not going back to work a week later. You turn like a 4-day TwitchCon into like a month later. Now, if you're not that kind of person, don't bring any of those people with you. Especially not, you can bring some of those people with you. Don't bring them all together in a group. I can't live stream inside the bathrooms. I don't think I was gonna just pay my own way there. I didn't know that do they give that shit for free? I don't know. I have no idea anything about it right now, other than get a flight, book the hotel room, and I'll be there. Yeah, like you can bring, like I'll tell you one thing. If you go on a trip and you bring somebody with you and their mountain bike is perfect and it's never seen a downhill trail, you'll get home by Monday. If they own everything North Face and it's perfect and it fits them exactly perfectly, you'll get home by Monday. Guaranteed. I didn't know. So you're saying I have a free room? I didn't know I had a free room. Well, I don't know anything about the free room. I don't know nothing about that. But I'll be there. We'll have some fun. I want to get like at least 2 or 3 people to go with me. Maybe 4 or 5, depending on who has the availability to go. But we'll make it fun out of it. Should be fun, right? You're gonna do stuff like that, make fun. Not make fun of it, like make it a fun experience. They're usually like things you don't do all the time, right? You only live one life. Well, some of you think you're coming back. I don't remember any of my previous lives, so I don't want to experience everything once, but I do look back when I was younger, and I'm like, man, I was too scared to do that. Or I was like, I never should. Like when I was younger, I'd be like, I made a big mistake. Now that I'm getting older, I'm like, oh, dude, like, do everything, do all of it, not all of it. I mean, there's some shit you shouldn't. Don't be like doing fentanyl, whatever that shit is. But like experiences in life, one time over a weekend. Like some things I don't do all the time. Like I'm not going to jump out of an airplane every day for the rest of my life. Because I figure eventually that's going to get me. Like a wingsuit every day. If I was wingsuiting it every day, I'm like, yeah, probably not going to make it. At some point. I don't know if I will. I may go to Australia. I'm not sure. It's expensive to go there sailing. I do definitely plan on going to New Zealand and Papua New Guinea on my travels out there. I'm going to try to go to Australia if I can. I don't know if it's on the itinerary or not. I might be bypassing like Australia, Japan, places like that. I'm not sure yet. Can't guarantee I'm going to Australia. Maybe I could go for a weekend or something, or a quick visa, but all the milk run people are saying don't or not to skip it, but there's other places to go. It's not that Australia is not worth visiting either. I like Australians. Yeah, free soloing. There's a good one right there. If I was like free soloing every day, I'd probably have a death wish. Yeah, nothing's safe anymore, right? You can't take drugs anymore. Or I don't know, maybe some of you do. Can't take like anything, pills, powders. You'd have to get it all tested. And even then, only your sample is that's all you tested, right? You just need someone was telling me this. They were saying now I guess some drug dealers, other countries, oh baby, 413 65 67. Now, if fentanyl is intentionally used, keep on squeezing, baby. Get on up there for daddy. Trend day. Trend day. How do I know it's a trend day? You're asking for my sauce? Not getting my sauce. Asking me in the chat how I know it's trend day. I need to have some secrets. Trading 413.77 right now. Trend day. Buy the open day. Sit back and relax day. 413.75 right now. Someone said earlier in the chat, I don't know who said, they're like, how do you know? How do you know? And I'm like, I ain't telling them. I ain't answering that question. Next question.
According to Punchbowl News, Republicans are to offer a debt limit lift by $1.5 trillion or until March 31st.
Give us the sauce. Whew. Just punching air up there. Yeah, you can't like so I guess some people do it intentionally, some people try to buy it, or I guess it's cheap and all that shit. But like my one buddy was telling me, he's like, dude, he's like, can't take ecstasy ever again, Molly ever again. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, never again. Not that I take that stuff.
Sponsored by TickStrike.
But he's like, you can never take that stuff ever again. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. He's like, what they'll do is, they'll
trial at tickstrike.com.
like these drug
Schnabel and
makers, like on their scales and stuff, be cutting it all up, and then they'll cut something up with fentanyl, and then like little little micrograms of fentanyl will be left like up behind, and you might get a hot dose of fent inside of an unintended product that you're consuming out there. So even if you were to test part of that product, well, let's say you're testing Molly, part of that Molly would be pure if you get it from like a, nefarious online source, when you're like, hey, I pay for quality and all this other nonsense in the background. But there could be like a small bit of fentanyl in there. Fucking time is up. Gone. Like those days are over. Close the gap. Please close the gap. So I feel bad for you young kids out there. You can't even try drugs anymore. You can smoke weed and take mushrooms probably. You could grow your own mushrooms, grow your own marijuana. But if you're like a young person out there, like I guess they said it, like Mick Jagger had an autobiography or something where he talked about how he got cocaine from doctors back in the day. Return to the scene of the crime, trading 413.84. If you wanted to take some money off the table, we're almost there. If you want to call it a day.
ECB Schnabel says while headline inflation has started to decline, underlying inflation proves sticky.
If you wanted to call it a day, this is one of those places right up in here.
And ECB Schnabel
right
says
up in there somewhere.
momentum remains high for all components except for energy.
X marks the spot.
ECB Schnabel says
SPY
supply
trading like a
side
penny
shocks
stock,
from
trading
bottlenecks and
413.85,
energy prices continue to
84.
fade.
Trend day. Mike, baby. You're welcome. Please support the stream. If you're making money, if you're making your way back from losses, please consider supporting the stream. Please put a like or a subscribe. Tell your friends about me. I don't win every day. Vert is still $19.80. Yeah, dude. So you know what? Vert. I like Vert. And you know what else? FRC, man. I saw FRC is trading like a penny. FRC was like rip face, rip face, rip face. I'm like, when does FRC just explode higher? Ripping face right now, trading 413.89. Get on up there. Do that thing for me. Get on up there. Make me that money. Yeah, I was thinking about buying croissant. I was thinking about loading up on FRC. I just want to load the fuck out of it for like a year or two and just sell fucking OTM puts on it. Even if it doesn't go higher. So I'll sell a bunch of OTM. I should buy it right fucking now. Yesterday, Game Winky just keeps talking to me like fucking relentless. Never leaves me alone. And so, of course, now I'm like, I'm going to buy some of that FRC. I was like, he just keeps fucking talking about it. I just want to own that shit. I just want to, because I'm starting to, I got a fucking pile of shit in the background. I got a bunch of fucking stocks now. I got like Disney stock. I got a bunch of fucking like not leaps, but some far out calls on IWM. I'm like buying a bunch of tickers in the background. I got another jet stock in the background. A rocket ship company.